toast to the world, we're hitting first base. Marty Lurie with friends, home run. You know the ways and the trends, the stories all with the match of the block. It's Marty and Friends. Marty and Friends.
All right. That is Ruby. Ruby, thank you so much. Boy, we're watching the game, which is still going on. This is a first for me. Eric, nice to see you.
Good to see you, Marty. Good to see you, Rick.
And Rick
Good
Smith.
to see you, boys.
As well. And, you know, it's the bottom of the 10th inning. The Giants went ahead 6-5. And I can describe the game for you. We can't let you see it or hear it. But Ryan Walker's in. Jeffers is up. It's 2-2, 1-2. And, of course, the runner is on second base. It's 6-5 Giants. It's been a wild game. Rick, I'll start with you. What did you think of the game so far?
It was a great game, just a terrific game. It was the Somonik series until the last few innings. I mean, the Giants couldn't get a hit or a run, but this is a hell of a game, no question about it.
No, he just gave up a hit, and they held the runner at third base. So Jeffers slapped one down the left field line. Ramos, who's had a fabulous day.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to talk about a moment, you know, what you take from a game, I think Ramos can play. You know,
Yes.
they complain about the number 3 hitter, number 4 hitter. He's at a good spot in the lineup. I like him right where he is. In fact, I'll even put him ahead of Wilmer, to tell you the truth, and put him after Chapman. I think Ramos is legit.
All around, maybe the best player right now. All around.
Yeah. So it's first and third. Walker's in, and he's got Jeffers up. And Jeffers has been 0 for 3 today. They overwhelmed him, although Ramos made the great catch in left field on Jeffers. So it's first and third, 0-1, and Walker throws. Jeffers smacks it to Chapman. He knocks it down. He's going to throw him out at first, but the run scores. So it's 6-6, and the other run went to second. He hit it hard.
Oh, my gosh.
Has Rodriguez pitched today yet?
No.
No, they used Duvall, which was interesting. They used Duvall in that inning when Rube fell apart.
Yeah.
So Duvall came in with the bases loaded, and I thought he did a good. He loves that slider.
He does,
but he was fine.
He almost had a double play ball. Just couldn't quite get it. Yeah.
He got ground balls from everybody. So now we got they're going to walk Castro intentionally because his run means nothing. So it's first and second, 1 out, and we have looks like Lewis coming up.
The infield's in.
They haven't shown the infield yet.
According to Game Day, no, they're not. There looks like they're a double play depth, I think.
Yeah, the infield's not. It's just first and second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, first and second. Okay.
Yeah. So so Walker threw the slider is off the plate. It's ball 1. Boy, you got to worry about Walker a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. And Miller too. What happened to Miller?
I don't know.
Miller had nothing today.
Yeah.
Nope. But to your point, I liked what I saw in Duvall. Yeah, he's slider happy and he hung quite a few of them. But hey, he got the job done.
Yeah,
he got a big strikeout. That was nice.
Bader's a tough out these days.
Is.
He's a tough out. Well, it's 1-1. He got the high strike. He comes now 1-1, and he throws it past Lewis. Now it's 1-2. This Lewis is a big deal, but hasn't done anything. Last year he hit like 12 home runs in 22 games.
I remember that.
He hasn't done anything since then. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, and he taps it to second. Casas got it. They throw to first. They get the out. And the runners move up to second and third. So it's 2 out, second and third now on the fielder's choice to Koss.
That closer for the Twins looks fantastic.
Yeah, Duran. He's good.
Duran?
Yeah.
Duran.
Looks unhittable.
Right. So now you got Kersey up. who can't hit at all, cannot hit at all, and you got 2 out. You cannot walk him, even though the run means nothing. You got to go right at him.
Right. You don't want to face Bader.
Uh-oh. Now the umpire's coming over to the dugout. The Twins dugout, there's a problem.
Uh-oh.
With Rocco.
Is Rocco going to get thrown out again?
Yeah, it looks like Rocco's arguing with the umpire already.
You don't see too many games where a team loses a DH. That was kind of interesting.
No. Well, he handled it because he had VR ready.
Yeah.
And I think he's out of players, though, isn't he? I think VR was his last player.
I think you're right. Because
player,
Flores came in, right? Koss is now in.
Right. Huff and Bailey.
Huff and Bailey, yep.
And then out of players.
This is
Matos, and Matos has played too.
Right. I did, Morcana.
But he's not out of pitchers yet. He's got Rodriguez, right?
Yeah, he's got Rodriguez back there, and he's got Harrison back there if he needed.
Yeah.
And Bivens as well, right?
And Bivens too. So he's got plenty of that. This is the game right here. It's second and third. And didn't he throw a pitch? I thought he threw a pitch in the dirt. But maybe
no, it still shows 0-0.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the argument. Maybe they called timeout or something, and Beldell and Rocco said, "No, there shouldn't have been a timeout." So he's just arguing with the umpire over nothing. Yeah,
baseball, gotta love it, right?
Yeah, he's like Lou Piniella.
Yeah. All right. So the argument's over. Rocco's going back to the dugout. He's not thrown out. And there's no count. Kersey got a break because Kersey can't hit at all. They're letting Walker warm up. And they're telling Melvin that it's no count. So it's 2 out. Melvin looks perplexed. He doesn't know what happened.
Oh, looks like, according to game day. Oh, no, they fixed it. Never mind. We're good.
So here's Kersey. Nothing. All right. Slider outside. So he's got to be able to just throw the fastball down the middle and not fool around with this guy. Now he's got an open base, so he can deal with that. And Kersey hits it down the left field line, and that's it. He walked him off.
Shot down the left field line, scored a run.
Yeah, hit a bullet down the left field line past Chapman, and that's it. Holy cow.
Unbelievable.
Right
down the middle. That was a sinker right down the middle, right down Broadway, as they say.
Well, that's what I told him to do.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that's a tough series for the Giants and a great series for the Twins. Great series for the Twins, but boy, that was tough.
Yeah.
Anthony's chiming in. He says, "Hi, fellas." What's up, Anthony?
Wow. All right. Well, to wrap it up here, to start our show, Twins win it in 10, 7-6. Giants scored 1 in the top of the 10th. Twins scored 2 in the bottom of the 10th. Twins 7-13-0. Giants 6-9-0. Walker's going to take the loss on this, and this Kersey kid, who they just put in for defense, and they ate him up in his first at bat. They just ate him up. With a strikeout, he slaps one down the left field line.
He was left-handed, huh? He's left-handed.
Yeah.
The base was open, but you got to pitch to him. Bader's on deck, and Bader is a problem. So I don't think you can criticize him for that. So the Giants, all right, go on the trip 2-4.
Not good.
Well, all right.
Good.
All right, they lose at 7-6. All right, let's talk about the game. It's a post game. I like doing the post game. Yastrzemski. How about the game he had today, Rick?
Take it up, Stu. I thought he had a great game. He showed all his skills. You know, he's hitting much better than he did in the last few years, and he goes the other way. And now, he's the best fielder on the team, I think, all around with that arm. Just terrific.
Yeah.
Good at bats. Every at bat's good. He knows what he knows what he wants to do now. He's not so pull happy. So I think he was terrific.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Michael's wants to join us. You got to resend him the link. And for some reason, his link is not lighting up. So
Hey, Ryan, if you could take care of that, I'd be appreciated.
yeah, if you could do that. Yeah, I think I wouldn't mess around with right field.
No.
No. He first of all, he can steal a bag. He stole 2 bases today. He's flattened his swing out.
Mm-hmm.
He's not popping up all the time, and I think he's a factor. And I said this to you guys before. At the end of the order, there's 3 or 4 dead spots at the end of the order. You
Yes.
need Yastrzemski to start things off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think pretty good for him. Adames, let's just go down the lineup. Adames today, Eric.
Yeah, Adames. He what does he do? He had 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. That's the only thing. I mean, he did score a run, but the strikeouts are up there. No, let's talk about this. 2 in a day and age, the number 2 is your new number 3 and 4 hitter. Where you, he just didn't get it done today. You can't, 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, you're freezing up a little bit, Eric.
Oh, am I? I'm sorry. How am I now? Am I good now?
Yeah, now you're good. All right.
All
Rick,
right.
Adames, what do you think?
Well, I mean, he strikes out a lot. Strikes out an awful lot. His defense isn't great. I don't know. He's kind of the soul of the team, though. Don't you think? I mean, he really brings something out there, spirit and all, and really rooting for the guy. He's rooting for everybody else. It's not all about him, but he hasn't really gone on a streak where you feel comfortable seeing him hit. He hadn't had a great run this year. And as I mentioned, his defense is not great. I think it's okay. Hopefully he comes around. I hate all those strikeouts, though. I really do.
Yeah, he comes up. He comes up in big situations.
He does.
Yeah, it seems like guys are on ahead of him, or it's a time when, well, here comes Adames. Let's come up with a big hit, and he just has done that just sparingly over the season. He claims he's a hot weather hitter, which is okay. There are some players like that. This is only May, and it's game 41, so he's got a long way to go. But I must say, defensively, okay, not great, and offensively, I think in my opinion, very disappointing offensively. I don't think it's even like, well, he's off to a bad start. I think he swings at everything, and I think he's very disappointing.
But he struck out 173 times last year, Marty. I mean,
I know.
That's what we got. That's who he is.
Yeah, he hit 32 out or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a lot of 3-1 home runs, right? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of 3. So I would say I'm more than mildly disappointed with Adames. I really am. I mean, can you see him being the guy that takes you, the whole season and hits 30? Can you see, Rick?
No, it doesn't look like it. No.
Right? No.
Oh, he chases too. He chases the whole game.
He does.
Yeah. They need him. Lee has come back to earth a little bit.
He has.
Yeah, the first hit was fabulous. He went the other way, just slapped it to the left side. But after that, it's fly ball to right, fly ball to center, ground ball to first. I think I looked it up this morning. I think it was like 12 for 57 or 8 for 42.
Yeah.
You
know what he can do. I mean, he's been great the whole year. I don't think he's a problem. The problem I see is obviously not that I mean, it's first base and catcher. You're not going to do a thing about it. You're not going to do a thing about catcher. I mean, he's the best defensive catcher, but boy, he can't hit. And Wade, I'd say at the end of May, they better make a decision on what they want to do when Encarnacion comes back.
Yeah, and Encarnacion is getting the job.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think they want to mess around with Wilmer. They want to keep him happy, keep him as DH.
And he's honestly, what I like Flores coming off the bench. He seems to And this is kind of I was talking about this last night. He excels in those situations where you need to get that hit with a runner in scoring position. He's clutch. And coming off the bench, he's fantastic. And the issue I have with him maybe at DH is sometimes that part of the lineup doesn't come through when you need him the most. You want him the most of coming off the bench in those situations and just have Flores on the bench. But then again, he's one of your best hitters out there too. So it's kind of as far as trying to find the best place to get Flores in that lineup.
Yeah, I think you got to play him.
Yeah.
You got to play him.
What do you do about? You don't do anything about catcher. Then you got to just keep going with Bailey, right?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there's no alternative. I mean, what are you going to do?
Huff. I mean,
they got rid of Joey Bart because they're in love with Bailey. At least the other regime was in love with Bailey, and that's why Bart wasn't given a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And Bailey is a Gold Glover. So at some point, you're going to pinch hit for him and have to do that. And that's probably where they're going to have to go, is when you get into a situation where you need a hit, you're going to have to pull him.
Well, what happened to Bailey? What happened?
It looks like the bat speed, they're throwing everything past him.
Mm-hmm.
He's in that in-between stage. Is it going to be a changeup? Is it going to be a fastball? What's it going to be? And then he just doesn't, his hard hit rate is like 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, I know.
He just doesn't hit the ball hard.
Yeah, he's not squaring them up.
No, but let's talk Roop a little bit, because Roop today, he went 5. Well, what's your thought about Roop?
Well, I love his curveball. I still like his curveball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great curveball. It's not one of those lollipops, It's just it's a great hook, I still like Roop. I don't see a big problem with Roop. The pitching's been good. I mean, you can't blame the pitching for where they are for losing these 3 games. That's for sure. So I wouldn't. Do you like Roop or not like him, Marty?
I like him. I think he's limited.
Yes.
Because if they sit, he gives up home. He's given up 6 homers. It was 5 and 35 going into this game, so he's 6 and 40 now in the home run. So if they sit on the curveball and he hangs it, he can get hurt. I think as a starter, there's still a ways to go with him. I don't think he's terrible. I don't think this is a guy you got to get out of the rotation, but he's got a ways to go with me. And I would probably really consider Birdsong.
Right. Yeah, because it seems, and it's the issue I think we have with 2 spots in the rotation with both Hicks and Roop. They could go 5, but after that, now you're starting to you're gambling a little bit. They seem to lose it after those 5 innings. Sometimes even before.
Hicks at least throws 100.
Yeah.
So he can, rear back and give you that. You just have to be careful when he loses it, he loses it.
Right.
But what I saw from Roop today is what you get. I don't think it's the end of the world, but
No.
I just don't see him giving you 30 starts. But he was all right. The one that disturbing today was Miller.
Yeah.
And
where did that come from? I mean, that was a real aberration. He had nothing out there.
Nothing. And he hadn't pitched since listening to the game on TV. They said he hadn't pitched since that crazy game, with all the runs in the 11th inning. And he pitched great in that game to save that game and get him out of trouble. But he had nothing today. So maybe you do need Harrison
Right.
in the bullpen, and you not to fool around with Harrison because you may need him.
Well, you got to have another lefty. Miller is it if it's not Harrison, right? So you got to have. You can't forget about Harrison here. You really can't.
No, Harrison may actually get a bigger role, but you can't bring Harrison in every day. Harrison is a starter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got to use him a little bit like Birdsong. Like they're using Birdsong now, like every couple of days. But Miller is, he's worth watching now.
Yeah.
Worth watching. You got to see.
Yeah.
What do you think of Duvall? Duvall came into a tough situation. What do you think of Duvall?
No, I thought Duvall was a fan. Duvall's looked great. I mean, I thought he was going to be sent to Poughkeepsie there for a while, but no, he's pitched great. He looks comfortable out there. He goes into those periods where he looks a little bit, dead to me. But and he didn't he lose? Didn't he have a ball called because he didn't the pitch clock? I think so today.
Yeah, he comes in right away. The alarm clock doesn't go off for him.
yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, there
All
is
right,
an alarm
Michael.
clock.
All right, we got Michael there. Michael, how are you?
Sorry, Marty. I just went to my cell phone. I just couldn't get on my computer.
Okay.
So
all
can
right.
you hear me?
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
hear
sound
you
great.
fine. Hey, you sound great. How
All
did
right.
you like it? Did you watch? Did you see the game?
Well, I saw some of it, but I missed the end of it. I had no idea how it ended, and I just found out as I was spending time trying to find a link on my computer, and I'm still looking at it, and it just isn't there. But I found it on my. So what can I say?
All right. So,
Sounds like very exciting. Very exciting.
all right. Well, we've talked a lot
Hello.
about how the game went down today. Some of your thoughts. First of all, you've talked a lot about Yastrzemski. What did you think of him today? Nope, not happening.
Can you hear Michael? Can you hear us?
I can
No,
I can
he's
hear
got-
fine. I didn't know if you were asking. Were you asking
Yes.
me, Marty?
Yes. I'm going to point
What did I
at
think
you.
of him?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can tell you what I thought about him yesterday because we watched that game together. Um, I'm just not quite with it today. But he's a wonderful right fielder. He made a great play yesterday on getting that guy out at second. Of course, he didn't exactly run out the play, but nonetheless, uh, it appears that Doval had a good inning, and the closer lost the game today.
Yeah.
Ramos had another spectacular day. Spectacular day. He's one of the hottest hitters in baseball.
Yeah, I think the one thing I'm going to take from today, and I'll say it to Rick and Eric and Michael, is Ramos.
Mhm.
That was
Yes.
pretty good.
Yeah,
That
his
was-
last. I mean, he was single-handedly trying to win this game. 2 diving catches, a home run. I mean, he got caught stealing. That was close though. That was a close play. I mean, if the umpire called him safe, if it reviewed it, I think there wouldn't have been enough to overturn it. So it was that close. But yeah, he is playing out of his mind right now. It's fantastic to see Ramos coming through right now.
Yeah. So 40, what are they? 40 and what's their record now? 25, 25 and 16,
24 and 17.
24 and 17. All right. So I'll ask you guys, they lose today 7-6 in 10 innings. They had a 3-0 lead. This is a game, this is a game you kind of think you're going to put away. And it kind of got away from them. It really did. But the bullpen, I guess the bullpen was all right, except for Walker at the end, right? Rogers.
Yeah,
Why don't they let Rogers close?
yeah. I mean, the guy's getting it done. He's having a solid year so far.
He is. He just doesn't
walk anybody. He never walks anybody. You can always count on him for throwing strikes, and he gets the weakest contact I've ever seen when they do make contact. It's very dependable. I don't know about closer though, Marty. On the other hand, I can't argue against it. I can't really argue against it. I mean, he might be. You could make the argument that he's the best relief pitcher. You really could.
Yeah. And look,
did he
go
have
ahead.
3 strikeouts today?
He did.
Did he have 3 strikeouts
yeah.
today?
He struck out Buxton, Larnack, and France.
Yeah, struck out
The
Sky.
problem is, I mean, whether it's a problem or not, he does it's weak contact, but it's contact, and that for a closer is dangerous. Everybody's going to hit the ball, maybe it might end up just being like infield hits or whatever, but And he's pitching better than he ever has in this role. But as a closer, I'm not so sure. I don't. So the reason is because people do hit the ball. They do make contact.
All right. I talked to Wotus, and he says, you don't want to pull Walker yet. Walker's kind of the guy, but boy, are you watching what I'm watching? I mean, every time he
Right.
comes in, it's just pins and needles, and I don't know. Rick, what do you think?
Well, I always liked Walker. I mean, I loved Walker last year. There is something missing with Walker right now.
Yeah.
He seems to lack a little confidence. Maybe that's because we see him not be quite as effective. But he's not quite the same pitcher. I mean, you're kind of on the edge of your seat when he goes out there. I don't know. I'm not a pitching expert, but there might be something wrong here. Maybe they need to evaluate it. I don't know. I mean, Doval, I never thought I'd say this or this year. Doval looks better than Walker. I don't think there's any question about it. So, I mean, these are tough calls, and this is why you got Melvin out there making these decisions.
Yeah, with both of them, when they get in trouble, they're not getting out of trouble.
I know.
That's what worries me about Duvall. Even the inning, of course, he came in with bases loaded, nobody out. That's the toughest you could ever have. And he did pull through it. But boy, it was 3-2, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just not comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with either one of them, to tell you the truth.
But the biggest concern is in the relief pitching is Miller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem they have right now.
Yeah, from today, Miller, there was no snap.
Yeah.
Right. And it
Yeah.
seems every time he comes out, he gives up his first it's like a first pitch knock almost every time.
Yeah.
And then he loses command, and then he's walking guys. Yeah, there's definitely an issue with Miller. And then to your point about Walker, I don't know what's going on with him, but we've had 2 implosions by his own hand, right? And this one, of course, you got the ghost runner, which sucks. But as a closer, you got to be able to get that done. And look, weren't they able to get that guy? I think they were able to get that lead runner, right? At second base, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But again, he still allowed that hit and the Twins to come in and win it. So yeah, there's something going on with Walker. I don't know if it's his slider is still sliding, his fastball. Now, one thing I do notice with his fastball, it seems like he likes to hit a lot of people, especially right-handers. With that two-seamer, it runs in and it runs in too much, and it seems like he likes to plunk some guys. So yeah, that's something that the Giants are probably going to have to look at. Who do they want to have close out these games, because you're starting to raise some questions with the way Walker's been performing.
Well, the other problem, Wade, Wade, you can't have your first baseman, hitting like a pitcher, and he's hitting 140, and he comes up, he's in the middle of the order,
middle of the order.
He's hitting 6th, 7th. And he comes up in big situations. He's going to be a free agent. There's no way they're going to sign him. You know that.
No.
Encarnacion is going to get the job on May 23rd. They're going to put him in there.
Mm-hmm.
They're clearly going to do that
Against righties and lefties, right?
And lefties, both.
So what do you think? You think maybe just put Flores until the 23rd at first base, let Matos DH? You think maybe that would be
that's not crazy. It's not crazy. Matos does bring some power, some youth, to get him in the game. It's hard for him to play once a week.
I know, and look at the damage he's doing against right-handed pitching too. It's incredible.
So here's the question, and Michael, I'll ask you this, and this is what baseball is all about. You want Matos in there instead of Wade. That's what it comes down to. Right? Is Matos?
Yes, I mean, because Wade looks lost right now. His bat is slow. He has absolutely no affect. It amazes me. Like none of this has really seemed to register with him. That he's just walking back to the dugout every time he gets up there, and he strikes out a lot. He's a first baseman. This is a power position, and I remember when he was batting below 100. And he seems to have gotten past that. He got up to about 158. Now he's going down again and coming up in key situations. And he is part of this sort of, like Marty and we talked about it, this dead zone in the Giants lineup. He's the leader of the pack. Once if Flores is playing, once you get past him, it's all downhill with Bailey and, who knows at second base. It's tough. Today they hit a little bit today. The last two games, I think they had a total of what, 4 hits, 7 hits, whatever. Yeah, and not much to show for it except for Ramos, who's
Also, you're talking about first base.
Yeah.
No Adcock, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you're talking about first base. I mean,
Seriously.
you got a guy. He's hit 1 home run, right?
Yeah, listen to this, between Bailey and Wade, 1 home run between both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bailey, you're not going to make any change. So for offense, you almost have to do something with first base now. You almost have to.
What about VR? Would you give him a shot?
I like VR, maybe up until when our Carcion comes back. Maybe you give VR a couple of weeks. I mean, that's okay. But he never. This is his third or fourth opportunity. At some point, you have to do it. You have to do it. So VR, I don't know. I'd give him a 2-week shot. How's that?
No, he's going to be gone when Encarnacion comes back.
Right.
VR goes. And the other thing, they are missing Fitzgerald. At second, they're getting nothing at second base.
Yeah.
And they're going to face 2 righties here, Merrill Kelly and Fott, and that means you're going to have Wisely in there for the first 2 games, and Rodriguez.
I sure like Costa's bunt. Last night.
Oh, it was beautiful, wasn't it?
It was a beautiful
bunt.
Yeah.
A+ bunt.
Yes.
But that was a great bunt. It was a tough pitch too, because it was a little bit up and in, and it was hard. And he still laid it down beautifully. That was baseball.
That was feeling good.
Yeah,
He's a player. He busted up Paddock's perfect game, on Friday night, and he did lay the bunt down. But they're missing Fitzgerald.
They are.
Yeah. So look, it's May. They're still right in the middle of it. But I think the big thing on Roop was all right. I wouldn't do anything crazy here. But what about the week coming up? 3 with Arizona and 3 with the A's, and Kansas City is not simple either, because they're going to throw lefties at the Giants too. They've got lefties to throw at.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Arizona?
But the whole division's tough, except for the Rockies. It's going to be a battle every day with these teams in that division.
The Rockies won today.
Wow. How many is that? 7? Did they win 7?
That's their set. Yeah, they're 7-33. I think they won.
God. That's painful. Jeez, 7 is that what it is? 7-33?
I think so. Yeah.
They were 6-33. They tied the Orioles for the worst start ever.
And the Orioles were 0 for the first 21, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like Black too.
Bad.
I think he's a good manager, but boy, I don't know. It'd be tough to. I don't know what they do. That's their problem.
The Rockies win today 9-3.
Wow.
German Marquez, believe it or not, got the win.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a big bounce back from the day before.
But it's not going to be. I'm sorry, Marty, to answer your question, it's not going to be easy against the Diamondbacks, nor the A's. The A's got some good young talent in that lineup. Their pitching is a little suspect, but
Diamondbacks don't have a bullpen.
Yeah.
This should be okay. Well, let's see if the Giants can hit. You think you bring in Arizona into Oracle, and that'll slow their hitting down.
But that Twins bullpen was terrific, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be the best in baseball.
Yeah, they're good.
They had 3 guys they could come in, and the lefty was terrific.
That's not a bad team.
Coloma.
That's one of the best teams I've seen the Giants play this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're hitting on all cylinders, man. What is it? They've won 7 in a row, something like that?
7 or 8 in a row. Yeah.
8 in a row. Woo.
And
Yeah,
they
they're
didn't.
good.
I don't
Good
think they
team.
made an. Did they make an error the whole series? I don't know if they made an error the whole series.
That's a good question. I don't remember them seeing him kick the ball around.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty good. All right, well, let's take a break. And Michael, do you have to go?
I have to go in about 10 minutes.
All right. Let's take a break. We'll come back, and the question I'll ask what I asked this morning: if you're Buster Posey and it's Monday morning, tomorrow morning, and you got to sit down and evaluate what you got, where you going, the division, baseball, the National League. What do you do if you're Posey? So let's think about that, and we'll talk about that when we come back right after this.
Hey fans, Gene Bagato checked in from Bodega Bay, and he said that with May approaching, up at the Tides are getting ready for two things in particular. The annual Fisherman's Festival on the weekend of May 3rd and May 4th, and of course Mother's Day on May 11th. On Mom's special day, along with the regular great fare, special menus are being planned to make her day truly memorable. This will be fun. And if you're looking to make it a special weekend, there's the Inn at the Tides with its large, comfortable rooms, all with a bay view. So if you're looking for a great getaway, think no further than the Tides Wharf and the Inn at the Tides in scenic Bodega Bay. Hey, it's Marty, and I'm here to tell you that it's time to discover the islands, and of course that means River Islands. They're celebrating 10 years of bringing the good life to Bay Area homebuyers. What's more, Del Webb, one of America's best-known builders for active adults in the 55 and over crowd, has just opened 3 neighborhoods at River Islands. They're building a huge community center on its own lake, all for buyers looking for a great lifestyle and a little less maintenance. I like that. Homes are priced from the 600,000s. Start your tour online at riverislands.com. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands? It sure is for me. It's been a pleasure working with Rick Robin this year. Rick Robin, R-O-B-B-E-N, NapaConstruction.com. Rick, the last time you were on with us, you told us about kitchen and bath remodeling, but there's a lot more going on up in your area.
Yes, there is. ADUs, auxiliary dwelling units, which are known as granny units. We can do your existing garage, attached garage, even building a new unit in the back. And so what we do is come out, bring our architect out there. Such a great thing. No sewer hookup fees, no water hookup fees. So that's what we do.
Rick, how does one start the process with you? How does one get in touch with you?
You call Tammy, 707-332-7575, 7 days a week.
Rick Robin, ConstructionNapa.com. Rick, the thing I like about this, no problem for me. You come out with the plans, the permits, everything is in-house, no fees, and you get a new unit that you can rent out and get money back on your investment right away. I like it, Rick.
Thanks, Marty. Love talking to you.
Rick Robin, ConstructionNapa.com.
All right, appreciate that. All right, Michael, we'll start with you because you got to go soon. If you're a Buster, it's Monday morning. What are you thinking about? What are you talking about?
Well, I think he said, why can't this team hit? I mean, going into today, their number 2 slugger was Yastrzemski. He was hitting about 269. Now Lee was hitting 293, but he was plummeting downward he was hitting 330, and now it's hard to watch. Chapman 220, Flores was 248, Wade, Bailey. Maybe you could suggest that Bailey should stop switch hitting. I don't know if that really matters that much. Obviously, they have good players. I mean, I thought the left side of this infield was just going to be something very special. And indeed, Chapman is starting to hit. Adames strikes out an awful lot. But they have good starting pitching. They have a deep bullpen. It seems like it's a team that can compete if their players play up to their ability. First base seems like a bit of a lost cause, and maybe VR needs to play. Other than that, what can you do? They're going to get their second baseman back, and hopefully, the bats will start, making some noise. Other than that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't make any change other than first base. I think we're going to have to live with Adames' strikeouts. I don't like it either, though. I'm with Michael on that, or with Marty as well, Brian. It's a problem. But we're going to have to live with Chapman and Adames. That's the way it is. That's the way they play. You can't make any change at catcher. You're kind of stuck a little bit with making any changes. You're going to get Fitzgerald back. I think he made the team go, tell you the truth. I thought he was really good. Yastrzemski's played better than anybody expected. And Lee's fine. I like Lee a lot. And the pitching, I think the pitching's been a strength. You got to make a decision on it looks like, I mean, I never thought I'd say it. It looks like Duvall is going to be the closer as opposed to Walker. But I don't think it's a time for any particular panic. I think they're going to be fine. I would like to see, they got to make a change at first base. I'm disappointed in Wade. I know everybody is. Something happened. He doesn't look, it's real slow bat, really a slow bat, and he's not making contact. He plays well defensively, but what first base, when do you ever see a team that you're thinking about, well, my first baseman plays good defense,
Yeah.
You don't see that very often. So they got to make a change there. That's about it for me.
Yeah, Eddie Waitkus. That was who the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Eric, what do you think?
I tell you, you guys already kind of hit the spots. I think they need to have that conversation about the closer. They may have to go to Duvall just to see if he's got it back, and then you bring in Walker for the eighth, maybe to take a little bit of pressure off him. Maybe it is between his ears because his stuff looks good. He just doesn't seem to command it, and guys are hitting it. So I would make a move there. First base, just put Flores at first base now. Just put him at first base until Encarnacion. And look at this. We're sitting here talking about a Mexican League player that they got off last year to be the savior at first base. Kind of tells you where the club is with first base. Now, we all know the heir apparent is Eldridge, and he's taking care of business in Double-A. And they need to still slow roll him. Don't panic and bring him up when he's not ready. But another thing I'd start doing is, if I was Buster Posey, you got the draft coming up here in a couple of months. You might want to, in that first draft or the first round of the draft, maybe you want to look at a catcher. Just saying that may be something that the Giants need to look at as far as the long term.
Yeah, but I keep telling myself, don't panic because it's only 41 games. It's all it is. The strength of this team is the pitching and their defense. So defensively, they're still, they've made some errors, and they're not quite as tight as I like in the outfield. I mean, Ramos made some great plays, but you don't know if those are plays that maybe he was out of position.
Good point.
Not clear what he's doing. He's making some great plays. But I think you just got to get the pitching straight. I think the hitting is who they are.
Mm-hmm.
The first base situation has got to change. And I think Matos is the answer. I would put him in the lineup and let Wilmer go to first, or let Wilmer DH. You get Matos in the lineup. But I think the big thing for me is the pitching. You got to get that straight. And Webb is fine. Ray has pitched well. Verlander's pitched well. Hicks is good enough. This guy is good enough. It's the bullpen that's getting a little wonky right now. Trevino is gone. Harrison is here. Birdsong's here. I'm not exactly sure they're here long-term for the bullpen. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I have to see how that's going to fit. So that's not quite the way you like to do it. So you got to deal with Miller. You got Rogers. You got Walker. You got Bevins. You got Duvall. I think if I'm Buster, I got to sit down and try to make some decisions on the pitching.
Yeah.
That and the one thing would be give Wade this week. He's got the two righties for Arizona. He's got a lefty Wednesday. Let's see what the A's do, righty lefty. But I would get the righty into the lineup for Wade. I would make the move with Wade. I think everyone else has got to stay where they are. But for me, that pitching better be strong.
Yeah, absolutely.
and you better get the bullpen roles right now for me are a little crazy. I don't know who's coming in when.
Yeah.
And you got to have the guy who's the eighth inning guy. If it's Rogers, that's all they got. You don't know where they're putting Miller. You don't know where the Bevins is going to show up. Maybe Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He's been terrific.
He has been.
He's terrific.
He's got the sixth inning. And
They don't know what to do with Walker right now. They don't know what to do with him.
No, Rogers
they're talking about it right now on the plane.
Yeah, Rogers has the eighth inning. Rodriguez has the sixth inning, and anything else, I don't know who's got what.
Right.
And that you can't have.
You got to have some. Yeah, you got to have a plan, so to speak. So you know what's going. Can I ask you guys a question? Have you noticed the Giants when the season first started, they were playing a lot of situational baseball, getting the hits with runners in scoring position, playing a lot more small ball. Are you guys seeing the same? It seems a little bit different now. It seems like the Giants aren't exactly getting those hits with the runners in scoring position that they did in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, they look a little dead this weekend though.
They did.
They're trying to steal the bag when they can.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're doing whatever they can do. They're not hitting a lot of home runs. Someone put a message up here. Buddy Black fired finally. Did Buddy Black?
Did he get fired? I haven't seen
Patrick Sheehan.
What a blessing for Buddy.
You know, Marty, we talked about this last week. We said, how does I said it? How has he managed to keep his job? And then you said, well, everyone likes him.
Yep.
And well, they don't like him that much.
From Jeff Passan, Colorado Rockies fired manager Bud Black after a brutal 7-33 start. Black was in his 9th year as a manager, and a career record with Colorado was .544 and .690.
Well, they did him a favor.
They did him a favor. I agree with Marty.
Yeah.
Wow.
They did him a favor. You know, they have a lot. You know, they got the shortstop out. They got another infielder that's out. They got a couple of pitchers that are out. They got a bullpen guy that's out. They do have a lot of people who are hurt. You know, you can't be that bad. Come on. 7-33.
Yeah.
You can't be that bad.
Wow.
But so getting back to our thing, I think that the one thing to take from this whole discussion, I think in my opinion, is the bullpen at first base.
Yep. Correct.
So how do you get Matos in the lineup? How does that happen? What do you do?
The only way is DH. You ain't gonna put him at first base, but yeah, I guess it's the only way. I mean, Yaz is playing good. Jung-Hoo Lee, you're not pulling out. Ramos is on fire, so DH. That's the only thing you can really do.
I think you wait for that and Ocasio to come back. That's what you do. You give another week or two, and then you make a change at first base when he comes back. I think you're stuck with that.
And slide Matos into DH at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, you could put Wilmer up there for a couple of weeks too. They got to do something. This can't go on in June. I'll tell you that.
No. Well, it wasn't a great trip. They didn't hit well against Colorado either, frankly. It's just that Colorado was so bad that they coughed up a couple of games to the Giants. So this is something that's going on now for, about 10 days.
Yeah.
Where they're doing this thing. But, to lose this one, when they're up 3-0 and knowing that bullpen is out there, in my own mind, I said, well, it's 3-0. This is a birdsong game.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, Roop got in more trouble. And you had to get Duvall in there Miller got in trouble and you had to get him. I would have brought Birdsong in the 6th inning.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why they kind of been doing that. I don't know why they didn't do it this time.
I would have just had Birdsong in the 6th inning and give him his 4 innings and let him try to finish it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe they're just trying to get the matchups because of maybe the lefties are coming up. I guess. Yeah.
Miller faced the lefties, but he got in trouble with them. He couldn't get him out.
Marty, that makes sense, especially a half hour after the game ends.
Thank you. That's what I do. That's why we have this All right. If anyone wants to subscribe, it's important to subscribe and do
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. And by the way, today we got your first member, Rick J, became your first member. So thank you, Rick, for supporting Marty Lurie and Friends. Awesome. Thank you, sir.
And does he get a T-shirt or anything?
What is it? A bag of Cheetos. I think that's what they say on the broadcast, right?
Is that it? A bag of Cheeto? All right. I appreciate that. All right. So we got the Diamondbacks coming up, then the A's and the Royals. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, they're a very entertaining team.
It is.
Right?
No complaints from me, really. They've been great. They've been great.
No. There's you know, we'd like to see a little bit better offense from the guys at the top.
You know, Eric makes a good point about it seems to be there's been a little bit of a change in the way they're playing, though. Maybe that's because Fitzgerald is out. I don't know. I don't see the small ball as much. That's why I love that bunt by Koss so much.
Yes. I thought the Giants were getting ready to rally, and then they got wiped out by that double play. And it's
yeah.
What about moving Ramos up in the lineup?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do they have Adames in there?
He shouldn't be batting 2. I would put Ramos in a 2 spot. I put Ramos in a 2 spot.
Really? That's a good idea. That's the best idea today, Eric. Good job.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Ramos he's giving you an at bat.
Yeah.
He is.
He's doing what Adames is not doing. So, but as I said, they're fun. Let's see what Arizona does out of Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
How they hit it. And was it Hicks in this one? Verlander? Who else is in this thing? Eric.
It would be. Yeah, who's going next? Who goes after Roop? Isn't it? It's Verlander, right?
Yeah.
Verlander,
yeah, because he. All right,
so it'd be Verlander, Ray, and would it be Webb?
I think it's Hicks.
Maybe it's Hicks. Oh yeah, Hicks. My bad. Hicks. That's right.
Yeah. All right, so that'll be fun. All right, so we'll do this again.
I think they're going to figure out the pitching, Marty. It's the hitting I think is a big issue right now. They'll figure out the pitching.
Yeah. Well, believe me, there will be something in that bullpen. Something's going to happen in that bullpen.
Yeah.
Has to.
You can't have 2 starters sitting in your bullpen with Bevins.
Right. That makes sense. No, that's a great point, right?
You can't have 2 starters sitting there. I mean, you got to get your roles defined.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I agree.
And losing Trevino, that lost a role guy. So I said, hey, we know Rodriguez, we know him and Rogers, but other than that, if there's a situation, I don't know who they're going to bring in.
Right.
So
that's a good. That's a great point, because you got 2 young starters in the bullpen rather than your traditional bullpen type guys.
Yeah, and it's wasted space.
Mm-hmm.
If a lefty's got to be every other day. You can't afraid to bring Harrison in because he pitched 2 days ago.
And and now you got 2 starters who are in the bullpen who aren't getting work down in AAA to be stretched out as a starter if they need a starter.
Yeah, they got to straighten that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's got to be straightened out. All right. I think that's cool. That's why we call it the postgame show.
I like the play-by-play that you had there, Marty. That was very professional.
That was nice.
If I could have been into it a little more, but it's hard.
Well, you didn't sound like Miller, I have to be honest with you, but you were good.
Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, come on. Kersey slapped one down the left field line, and that was it.
Yep.
Marty said it's over.
He's a guy you wanted up, and Walker had him.
You said throw the ball right down the middle, which is what he did.
He did, and he was late.
He was late on it. Because it was barely fair. I mean, it was
it was one of those late shots down the left field line because he couldn't get around the ball. So that was it. All right.
Gentlemen, I have to sign off.
All right. All right. We'll say goodbye to Michael.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Take it easy. All right. And let's do the other spots. then we'll
Sure.
come back and say goodbye. All right, stick with us just for another minute. Okay.
Fans, great news. If you enjoy Original Joe's, there's a new Original Joe's coming to Walnut Creek, opening late May, early June. Let me tell you a little bit about it. It is going to be fabulous. 300 seats, 13,000 square feet, 3 outdoor patios with 90 outside seats, a full exhibition counter and cocktail lounge. You know, that's the best. And the cocktail lounge will have a multitude of TVs to watch the Giants and the dreaded A's if you want to. It's the first opening of an Original Joe's in 70 years in a new market, and this is really going to be something. 9 years since opening in Westlake, so this is going to be fabulous. It will have a private dining room with accommodations up to 40 people, with its own private bar and patio. It fits Walnut Creek like a glove. This is going to be something else. I can't wait to do some events at the new Original Joe's in Walnut Creek, coming late May, early June. Hello again, Marty Lurie here to talk to you about my good friends at Georgie Brothers, the largest family-owned furniture store in the entire Bay Area. Right now, and good through May 26th, you can save hundreds of dollars on my favorite line of furniture, Stressless. You know, I own Stressless furniture in my home, and I can tell you it's the most comfortable place to sit in my house. Visit them at georgiebrothers.com. That's GIORGIBROS.com. Remember, tell them that Marty sent you. Fans, joining us is Grant Power, President and CEO of Nations. Grant, last year we talked about the amazing breakfast at Nations. I'm going to ask you this. What's your favorite lunch?
You know, I'm pretty split. I guess I'm kind of like a pitcher who has 2 favorite pitches they like leaning on. I'd say half the time I do the hamburger and half the time I do the wild salmon burger. It really depends on which protein you want. We love our beef supplier in Northern California. We've been with them for decades. We test our beef all the time. We sell ocean caught wild salmon. Friends don't let friends eat farm salmon. It's absolutely delicious. You know, to mix it up, I guess it's like a pitcher who has a 2-seamer and a 4-seamer, or maybe a 4-seamer and a cutter. I actually go grilled onions on my hamburger half the time and raw onions the other half. Today at lunch, I got the French fries, but half the time I get the onion rings, and I had a wonderful slice of pecan pie. There's something for everybody, whether you like hot dogs or grilled cheese. It's really up to the individual what mood they're in, but my go-to is either the beef with the hamburger or the wild salmon, which is absolutely delicious.
Wow, I love it. Grant Power, President, CEO of Nations. Grant, thanks so much.
Pleasure being on.
All right. All right. So what did we decide today? The pitching, starting pitching is good enough.
Yeah.
It was good enough the whole weekend to win all 3 games.
Mhm.
Bullpen
Right.
is a little choppy right now. Offensively, they're definitely struggling. I think we agree first base, they got to deal with it at some point, if not now, as Rick says, after this homestand. And basically just keep pitching the way they do. Every day they throw a starter out there that can win a game. And really, the starters did well enough to win these 3 games. I mean, they weren't terrible.
Absolutely.
You know, Marty, I've always heard you say that, you know, when a team is not hitting, it looks like they're not trying. It looks like there's nothing happening out there. That's just the way. That's just baseball. You know, when they don't hit, it looks dead. I just think it was the weekend was just not going to happen for them. I'd like to look at it that way. And they missed that kid Fitzgerald. I'm a big Fitzgerald fan. They got to get him back and, as Eric said before, play that different type of baseball they've been playing that was so successful after 6 weeks.
It was.
So I'm not pessimistic about it.
No, they, as I said, they threw a starter out there every day. And if you can do that every day, you're going to win games. But the one little strength, that bullpen was a strength, is now starting to get a little shaky. And they got to straighten that out. But the offense was going to be a work in progress all year, no matter what.
Right.
We knew it when we did our bets.
Yeah.
You know, for home runs and RBIs, it was the same guy that we picked for everything.
Yeah.
You know, Adames, Chapman, that was it. And they're ordinary right now.
Oh, Adames is ordinary. That's a good way to put it. That's a good word to describe him. Ordinary. And you don't pay. What did they pay him? $190 million.
Well, they needed him. Look, you needed a shortstop. They didn't have anything.
Right.
So, you know, as I said, he says he's a warm weather hitter. So give him We'll give them time to heat up and see what happens. All right. I appreciate you being on, Rick.
All right, Marty. Eric, nice seeing you again.
Eric,
Great,
take
Rick.
care.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right. Stay tuned, and we'll schedule something for this week.
All right,
All right.
boys. Talk to
Take
you.
care,
All right.
guys.
Take care,
Thank you.
guys. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you kindly. Enjoy the next week. We've got a whole bunch of baseball to speak on here at Marty and